Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am Muffin the Guildmaster, and I'm here again with...
ZakPak, hello, howdy.
And we are going to be playing more Angels with Scaly Wings. Last time, we did a thing or two involving the Reza case. Nothing too big. We found a bloody bandage behind a locked hatch, which was interesting. We went on one date with Anna and then bailed on the second. And we entered Chapter 3. Usually we'd be starting straight from the game itself, but considering this game has been crashing every time I tab out, we've decided to just go ahead and start here. Take it away.
The morning sun declared the arrival of a new day and woke me from my vivid dream. Memories of my home enclosed within the towering perimeter wall raced through my head. The peaceful landscape outside the apartment window stood in defiance of these old thoughts. Rolling hills and blue sky were familiar to me now, and the purity of the sight gave me hope.
Mason, please come with me.
Oh boy. What's going on? You sound serious.
The chief will explain everything once we arrive.
Okay.
Hey chief, Mason is here.
Wait, why are we here?
Thanks, Sebastian. You can deal with the situation here while I talk to Mason, alright? Of course.
Uh-oh, I don't like that we're here.
Mason, I've got some really bad news. That's Sebastian's voice. Mason, I've got some really bad news.
Well, what is it?
You know Anna, right?
Uh-oh. Yeah, I've met her, yes.
I'm sorry. I don't know how to say this.
Those few words were enough. Dread sank in and I already knew.
No.
I ignored his words and walked past him. Oh, snap.
Still like your decision to go
Now
home?
I feel bad. When I turned the corner, there was no mistaking her. Anna was haphazardly covered by a sheet, leaving her tail and bloodstained hand exposed. In the end, she didn't deserve full discretion.
Are you okay?
Oh no.
So yeah, remember when I said you wouldn't be feeling that way about her much longer?
Oh no.
I gave you every chance to go back.
Oh no. I don't know.
Is there anything I can do?
Let's just get this over with. Bryce gave me a concerned look, but then nodded.
Here's more bad news. The blood we found in the first victim in town matches the DNA evidence we found in the second victim at the power facility. Furthermore, the murder weapon and method appear to be the same across all three victims, and that's going to be a big problem for you.
Why is that?
Because with these three murders, Reza now qualifies as a serial killer. We won't be able to keep this whole thing quiet for much longer. Higher authorities, including the ministry in charge of your whole visit, will know about this soon. I have no idea what will happen once they do.
I'm not sure what to say to that.
I don't want to worry you, but we can be sure that action will be taken soon. I've been considering the possibility for a while, and I think it might be best if you went back to your own world for now. This way we can take action before the ministry does, before all this becomes public. If we wait, we don't know what they'll do or how the public will react. With everything going on, it's too dangerous for you to stay here.
No.
No?
This would be the worst possible time for me to leave. We've given up our PDAs and hardly have anything to show for it. We are owed several more generators. Let's not forget that Rez is still missing. Ooh. Ooh, my character has some balls.
Yeah?
If I leave now, the only thing I return with is my life. I have lost everything else. You need those generators, Bryce. I have no idea if your authorities will continue to uphold our deal or what they'll do to Reza, but I'm not leaving until this is over.
I can hear in your voice that you're actually upset.
That's not the right thing for me to say. I already know that.
If that's your decision, then so be it. Anyway, let's get back on track. I called you here for a reason, Mason. In addition to the murder, several things were stolen. Among them, your PDAs, batteries, and some components used to build generators. Does that ring any bells?
Not really. Reza might have some knowledge on electronics, but I doubt he has enough to assemble one of your generators, even if he had the parts.
Strange. Even so, it's fair to assume Reza's involvement at this point. No one else has a greater motive to steal PDAs, especially after what happened between him and Maverick.
Unless someone wanted to frame Reza in order to sabotage his whole operation.
Do you really believe that?
Hey, I'm just saying it's possible.
I'll shelf that idea under possible but unlikely. Hey Chief, are we done here? Pretty much. Why do you ask? We just got a message from the higher-ups. You and Mason are to report to the Ministry of Culture and Arts immediately.
I swear to God, if we have to see that one dragon again, I forgot her name.
You're gonna
Because
hate
right,
her
wasn't
even
she like
more.
immediately as oh, that's bad Bryce.
Immediately, as in right now? Yeah, apparently.
What's going on?
But Frank, I don't know. This is an extraordinary situation. And now that it's getting out of hand, they must want to address it. Yes, they're going to throw a surprise party.
Yeah, I was
that's what
looking
they're
at
gonna
that
do.
one, but I'm not gonna go that way. Maybe it's not gonna be a big deal.
Maybe. I suppose we'll see soon enough. Sebastian, you can finish up here and go to the ministry when you're done. We'll probably have to make some arrangements after this meeting. Sure thing, Chief. Let's go then, shall we?
It's not like we have a choice.
That was quicker than I expected. I wouldn't have minded waiting out here a little longer. Greetings, Minister.
Greetings.
Shall we go inside for our official business? No, I've got everything I need right here. It's so stuffy inside on hot days. My assistant doesn't seem to mind, but I prefer the fresh air. I'd rather just sit right here unless you have any objections. I don't. I see. Well, I know I haven't exactly been up to date in regards to Reza's sudden disappearance, but to get the message today that he is a confirmed serial killer was quite shocking. Frankly, I'm curious as to why the facts of this case have been withheld from me for so long. Simply because they weren't within your jurisdiction, the murders were strictly a police matter. Only with the amount of new evidence, namely the DNA and blood we found, and these three murders now being linked together, and to him, did your ministry have to become involved. I see. Teresa's involvement is now undeniable. I'm afraid so, Minister. The facts are nothing to be afraid of, though in light of all this, I'm starting to worry about my personal safety. Gothic kites, I don't think our species has much to fear if we consider the murder weapon. Speak for yourself. You don't think someone of my standing needs protection?
Oh, I hate her.
Oh, for sure. If you're worried about your personal safety, we could look into an escort for you. Good. Considering all the murders took place during the night, I'll certainly need it. Long days are endemic in my line of work. But that's enough about myself. We now face the question of what should be done about Reza and Mason. Minister, we continue our hunt for Reza every day. As a matter of fact, Mason has been helping us do so for a while now. Is that so? One human a murderer, another a detective. Interesting. And how do we know Mason isn't following a similar plan to Reza's, whatever that may be? Similar concerns were leveled by Reza's escort, Maverick. It was his overreaction that caused Reza to run away in the first place. Let the human talk for once, Chief. Please, Mason, enlighten me. You and Reza came here on the same mission, and the situation has escalated beyond our expectations. What you tell me now will determine the actions I'll take on this matter. Maybe you should start by telling me your side of the events from the beginning. Reza was fine during his early days here. Things only went wrong after you arrived.
I opened my mouth, but Bryce spoke first, determined to defend me.
Arguably, the problems that caused all of this were apparent even then. How so? Maverick suspected Reza planted something, but I didn't think he had a case. Well, did he? No, what he had was suspicion. The night he followed Reza, he found both him and Mason at the portal. The humans intended to send one of their promised generators through, but there was a confrontation that ended with both Maverick and Mason wounded, and Reza running away. Reza's been missing ever since. I've read the reports already, Chief. The question is, did Maverick call this, or did he just fail to prevent it? I have no way of knowing that, Minister. You just mentioned your apparent knowledge of problems back then. Problems may not have been the right word. Let's just say Maverick's attitude was not helpful during that encounter. Why did you choose Maverick as his escort in the first place? Protection for the human ambassador was my greatest concern when I made that decision, and Maverick was the most capable individual in that regard. Well, that worked out nicely, didn't it? You also seem to think that Maverick shouldn't have remained Reza's escort. Is that true? Yes, had I paid more attention to the warning signs, the situation may have been avoided. So you accepted responsibility for the incident? Yes, Minister. I see. Now let us get back to the topic of Mason. Reza was your partner in humanity's mission to come to this world. His list of criminal activities not only includes murder, but also theft of generators, electronic components, and the PDAs your people gave to us. I understand why Bryce would reason that you could help the investigation, but we have no other choice but to be suspicious of Reza's partner. What was your motivation when you agreed to help us?
It was my best bet at finding the truth.
Truth. I thought Reza's involvement was undeniable at this point.
That may be true, but we still don't have the whole picture. We don't know if others are involved or his reasons. I just want to know why.
I see. Well, after reading up on the whole situation and hearing both your accounts, I believe that Mason is trustworthy. Nevertheless, I think Mason presents a great risk.
Why is that?
After this meeting, I will hold a press conference to inform the public of the current situation. The people must know of the danger posed by Reza. No matter what Bryce and I think about your involvement, the public could feel differently. You, me, and Bryce will have to face the backlash resulting from this information becoming public. And what's more, Mason, you might be in real danger yourself. Reza himself may come to silence you once he learns that you are helping us, or consider the public uproar from those who would question your involvement. All things considered, it would be for the best if you returned to your own world until the situation has been resolved. I came to that very same conclusion, Minister. Then, with your support, this is what shall be done.
Please don't.
You don't agree?
If you send me back now, this diplomatic relationship is over. I'd have to admit defeat to humanity. There's no way I can return without your generators or PDAs or Reza.
Maybe you could explain to them what a great choice of an ambassador Reza was.
But I was his partner, so in a way he's my responsibility. I can't just go back like this.
I'm afraid that's not enough. It certainly doesn't outweigh our reasons for sending you home.
Just let me explain. I'll tell you everything.
So this is what I should have explained to you before we started. I don't get why they wait so long to reveal it.
Years ago, our world was prosperous. Our technology... Wait, is this from my perspective? Or...
Yes, this is from your character's perspective.
Okay. Years ago, our world was prosperous. Our technology was far more advanced than yours, even. Computers not only graced every household, but every single person. It was the age of information. Even children had the power to access the most advanced knowledge at their fingertips. With our PDAs, our interconnectedness with other people and our environment was greater than ever. From locomotion to repetitious work and household chores, many processes were automated to such a degree that, except for our jobs and hobbies, there was nothing that needed to be done by a person anymore. Even the concept of someone wielding a weapon was outdated, as wars were no longer fought by people, but machines. Looking back, it was probably the single most prosperous time in human history. Exploitation of the environment and other people was at an all-time low, as was crime. Conversely, our technological advancements had drastically increased quality of life. Humans were no longer required for strenuous and repetitive tasks. Education had reached an all-time high, and many new jobs were created. General happiness had reached levels never before seen. Yet one day, everything changed.
When the Fire Nation attacked.
Nice reference.
Thank you, I literally turned my mic on to make it.
A solar flare that was headed for Earth was detected by an automated monitoring system. It was determined to be so powerful that it dwarfed all others ever recorded in history. We had less than a week to prepare. Chaos hit much earlier than that, as people scrambled to shield themselves and their possessions from the incoming ion storm. On a worldwide level, power lines were switched off, satellites reoriented in space, and planes grounded to mitigate the effects that would hit us. Despite humanity's contingency plan for such an event and all of our efforts, we were still not prepared for the sheer magnitude of the solar flare that arrived. It was only then, when our race had become so dependent on technology, that we were immeasurably vulnerable to this kind of disaster. That day, a force with the power of 10 billion Hiroshima bombs was unleashed to our atmosphere. Would they even get that reference? Probably not.
That's a fair point, because I'm pretty sure at any point when you reference a human disease, they don't know what it is.
Yeah. The eyewitness reports from this day were varied as they were terrified. A huge, beautiful aurora could be seen on the horizon before fireballs hurled across the sky. In some places, these lights became so bright that even those asleep at night awoke, as though the day had already arrived. A, co- a, cor- a coronal mass ejection by itself did not have the power to kill anyone directly, but the side effects were disastrous. After the lights in the sky arrived, sparks showered from electrical outlets everywhere, igniting rampant fires in every town and city. Facilities that stored weapons, fireworks, or other explosives became centers of widespread destruction and loss of life. During the next stage, the solar flare started to affect body modifications and caused commonplace pacemakers and nanomachines to fail. 15% of the world's population died as the result of this alone. Once the full power of the waves hit us, however, society as we knew it collapsed in one fell swoop. Power grids on Earth shut down in an instant, as did all the machines that automated our routine tasks. Long-distance communication and transport became a thing of the past. Without electrical power, the quality of healthcare plummeted, and water and sewage systems were crippled. Diseases we thought defeated centuries ago made their comeback in a most unsightly fashion. Many thought the end of the world had arrived, and in a way it had. Some people blamed whoever their belief system would allow, angry at the gods that had forsaken them. Others pointed their fingers at our lifestyle and society, not that anyone was listening. Practically, we were back in the Middle Ages. Governments collapsed and were overthrown, and the ensuing power vacuums filled with groups of people that were sometimes organized and sometimes not. The few functioning electronic devices left became rare, sought-after artifacts over which battles and even wars were. Of course, there were also wars over resources and territory. The weaponry used was improvised or reclaimed from the days when humans had been present on the battlefield. It had been ages, but people returned to the old bloody ways of war. Humanity is in shambles. Those that I'd call family and friends now live with me in a giant, mostly self-sufficient city-state of survivors. A huge wall around the perimeter, guarded by militia, prevents any outside interference. It's the only way we can retain a modicum of order. Gangs of raiders and looters run rampant on the outside. They wouldn't hesitate to kill first and ask questions later if they had known about my PDA. Our contained community has flourished for years now. We have homes to live in, crops to grow, and livestock to raise, and still have our own automated hospital that runs on salvage generators. Lately, though, supplies have started to run low, and dangerously so. The power we have is running out. Illnesses are spreading through the city, and treatment isn't as available as it used to be. Our population is dropping by the day. We took a great risk to increase the radius of our scouting missions, desperate to find something outside the wall that could help us. You already know the rest of the story. We found the portal, and you.
So the main reason I didn't tell you all of that when we started was because I didn't want you to know the dark undertones of this game before it started.
Sheesh, so we're basically living in like an apocalyptic world.
Kinda.
And now you know why this whole thing is so important to me, and our hopes lie in acquiring the generators you promised. The act of sending Reza and me here has, without a doubt, cost the lives of some people back home. Beyond the city walls is a dead zone. We haven't heard from any other settlements for months now. The state of the rest of the world is unknown. When Reza and I were sent here, my peers made it clear that this is our last chance. If anything happens to us, no more people will be sent. If we can't manage to bring back something that will help, will have sealed the fate of the tens of thousands that live in our city.
Sorry, Mason. I didn't know. What you're telling me is true. It is unfortunately it does not work in your favor. As sad as your situation may be, it gives Reza a motive. Desperate times call for desperate measures, after all. In that vein, it also gives you a motive, considering the gravity of the human plight. It gives you all the more reason to collaborate with him.
I'm not. What Reza is doing is wrong. You can't send me away under these circumstances, because I'm your best bet at finding.
Even so, you would still be in grave danger after we announce Reza's involvement in the murders. I cannot and will not take responsibility for the consequences when I know of the risks.
What about our deal then?
Knowing of this new information, and as a sign of goodwill, we will send the generators you are owed through the portal once this is over, under two conditions. Humanity must condemn Reza's actions, and we must reclaim the stolen PDAs. I've changed my mind. You should let Mason stay here. I cannot take your word under consideration in this matter, Chief. Taking into account Maverick's actions and your responsibility for them, you will have to be dealt with separately. Even with my authority as the minister in charge of the human visit, my decision is to have Mason sent back to the human world through the portal.
Please.
Immediately. Chief, please arrange for an escort to take Mason to the portal now. I could do it myself, Minister. Well, we have our own matters to discuss, Chief. I would rather get that over with as quickly as possible. In that case, one of my officers should be here any moment. I arranged for him to meet us here.
Sebastian!
How handy. And let us wait for this officer of yours.
Please be Sebastian. Yes! It didn't take long for Sebastian to arrive. After the situation was explained, he was visibly shocked, but didn't protest when he was given the task of sending me back through the portal.
Let's go, Mason.
Don't I even get to say goodbye?
Let us not waste any more time. You will still be free to send letters after you have arrived on the other side. Just go, Mason. Come on, then.
We were silent as Sebastian and I slowly made our way to the portal. With each step I took, I drew closer and closer to the hopelessness waiting for me in the ruins of the human world. All in all, I certainly had a unique experience alongside these dragons, and although this place was filled with just as much drama and murder as back home, I would remember this world and all the people I met. I would finally think back to the days I spent in their comfortable standard of living, a shadow of how humanity used to be. Even without the generators, at the very least I'd be returning home with a few life lessons.
What's going on here?
Lost in thought, I hadn't even noticed a Dean approach.
It's none of your concern. Please leave.
Can I even get a few minutes before I go?
I suppose nobody's stopping us, but make it quick. The human unofficial business, huh?
Don't even know you right now, do I?
Don't you remember? I met you in the cafe and at the crime scene.
That's all, isn't it?
Unless I missed something, yeah.
What are you doing out here?
I was just practicing my flying when I spotted you down here. And who would say no to an opportunity to meet one of the humans? Not me.
I'm afraid this will be both our first and last opportunity to talk. I'm about to leave this world again.
Is that so? That's too bad. Kind of a shame I never got to know ya. Nudge, nudge. Wait, does this have something to do with those rumors I heard? Is Reza really a murderer?
I'm afraid so.
What does that make you?
I don't have anything to do with that. I was helping the police find him.
Then why are you leaving?
It's for my own safety, apparently. This wasn't my decision.
Really? But what about Reza?
All I could offer was a shrug. I guess they're convinced that they can find him on their own.
I see. Not sure what to think anymore.
I'm not sure either. I looked over my shoulder and glanced at Sebastian. I should be going now.
Alright. Goodbye, Mason.
Goodbye, Adine.
I remember her. That was the witness from Reza's first murder. Did you know her?
A little.
I see.
A few minutes later, we arrived at the portal, standing proud as ever in defiance of the elements. How many years have the structure survived before it was found?
I hope I can remember how this thing works.
Are you joking?
Yeah, sorry. I got it.
Alright, I suppose it's time for us to say goodbye.
Let's keep it professional. I don't like to mix personal matters with work.
He looked away, and I shrugged. Go ahead and turn it on then.
Would you stand between the pillars, please?
Of course. I took my place and stared toward the horizon while I thought about what would happen now, in this world and others. Even if I made a break for it, I'd become a fugitive no better than Reza. It would be near impossible to investigate the case by myself while on the run in a world I knew so little about. At the very least, I took comfort in the fact that I did everything I could to help, even if it turned out like this. Nevertheless, I dreaded going back empty-handed and returning to my old life in our ruined city. Any second now, the teleportation process would start, disintegrating my body before I would reappear on the other side, back in my dying world. I wonder if there is any risk of getting lost somewhere between worlds. We didn't really know how the portals worked after all. Maybe I'd be flung somewhere else in space-time, or it might affect my body in some way. I hadn't noticed any unusual changes in my body since I arrived in the dragon's world, but I had no way of knowing if there's any potential long-term side effects. I still remember the images I saw when I teleported the first time, the vivid sights and patterns, people and situations I recognized and said. It only took a moment to arrive at the other side of the portal, yet it felt like I had dreamed 1,000 dreams. And during the nights I spent here, these dreams had often reappeared. Any time now, I would undergo the same experience again. I was almost relieved that my adventure was over. Things had turned out far differently than I had expected. I evaded danger, got swept into a murder investigation, and met incredible intelligent beings from several different species. It had certainly been a time to remember. With that thought, I closed my eyes and braced myself for the moment that would come, any second now. But that moment never came. The next thing that did happen was that I heard Sebastian's voice.
It's not working.
Are you joking again?
No, really, it's not working. Wait, what is this? It's broken.
Can you fix it?
I don't think so. This doesn't look like a simple act of vandalism. It looks like some parts were torn out.
Guess that means I'm not leaving, huh?
Not yet, at least.
Well, what do we do now?
Let's head back. The chief has to know about this right away.
We were back at the ministry before long. Emera and Bryce were still outside as Remy approached the two of them.
Here are the case files, Emera. Why, thank you. Mason and officer? What is this about, Emera? That is what I would like to know. Please, officer, enlighten me. Why has my order not been carried out? The portal is broken. It's broken. Yeah, it looks like someone tampered with it and stole parts. I couldn't even get the interface to turn on. Check it out once I'm done here. I suppose Mason will stay with us for a little longer after all. Seeing how this is an emergency situation, I will make this short. Chief, as a result of your carelessness regarding Maverick and Reza, you are temporarily removed from any duties related to the humans. Given these dangerous times, you will instead serve as my personal escort until further notice. Considering the circumstances, you will be allowed to coordinate with the investigation. You will be allowed to coordinate the investigation of the portal, but after that, you are to immediately return to me and start your new task. Understood? Understood. And all of you are dismissed.
She turned to leave, Remy trailing after her.
Fucking hate her so much. Alright, let's head to the portal. That includes you, Mason.
Of course. Out of the corner of my eye, I spotted a sheet of paper on the ground. Hey, what's this?
Emera probably dropped one of the case files. Either her or her assistant. Better bring that to us. Sebastian and I should hurry up to the portal. Meet us there afterwards, okay?
Sure. I picked up the sheet and started reading. It was about what had happened when I met Rez at the portal. Of course, it didn't say anything I didn't already know. As I walked up the stairs, I wondered if it was okay for an unauthorized person to enter the building. All I knew about the place was that Emera worked here. I did have an important document that was going to be missed, so I walked inside, only to be greeted by an empty lobby. Luckily, there were some signs directing me to Emera's office. It didn't take long to find it, and I heard some voices when I approached the door.
By the way, what happened to the scroll you brought me this morning? The last time I saw it, it did not have that tear. I dropped it. Tell me something new for once. Okay, someone else dropped it. Am I supposed to believe that? Remy, are you aware of how much this costs? Repairing and replacing artifacts is not cheap.
Ooh, was that the thing I dropped earlier?
I don't remember if it specifies. I'm afraid we'll have to deduct this from your wage again. I see. You're not doing this on purpose, are you? Of course not. You have been working for me for a long time now. I expected you to learn at some point, but you are very resistant to do so.
Not wanting to listen to this any longer, I decided to knock. There were a few seconds of silence.
Please come in.
I only opened the door long enough to hand Remy the sheet of paper. I think you dropped this outside. After I closed the door and started to walk away, I heard the voices resume.
This is from one of the case files you requested. You must have dropped it. Why was it left outside? As my assistant, you should have paid more attention. If this got into the wrong hands, someone could get in trouble.
I made my way back to the portal and arrived shortly after Bryce and Sebastian.
So what are your thoughts on Emera?
Oh, she's a pain. She's a real pain.
Yeah. Well, I can confirm that it's not turning on. I told you that already. Just wanted to be sure. You really think it would still work with a chunk ripped out of it? Hey, I'm not an engineer. We don't know how the portal works. It was worth another try. There you are, Mason. What do you make of this?
I'm afraid I don't know any more than you do. I'm not an engineer either.
In that case, we should start thinking about the who and when. The patrols assigned to the portal and surrounding area day and night. If someone tampered with the portal, they must have seen something. Today's day patrol didn't notice anything unusual, though. I guess she just missed the part about the portal being vandalized. It'd be easy to overlook. It's a small part of the machine, and it's not like she was expected to check every square inch of it with each lap around the area. What about the night patrol lamp? When I went over the reports this morning, I noticed the night patrol hadn't handed theirs in yet. Who was patrolling last night? Let me think for a minute. The schedule always goes in certain order, so last night would have been... Damn. What is it?
Is it?
That night...
Yeah.
That night patrol for last night would have been Maverick. I got wrapped up in all the recent chaos and forgot to find a replacement for him when he went on sick leave. Maybe Emeras was right to take me off the case. So there was no guard here at all? That's right. Whoever it was had an easy time doing whatever they wanted.
Could it have been Maverick? If he knew no one was going to be here, he could have used that knowledge to his advantage.
He couldn't have known that I'd forget to find a replacement, though. I don't usually slip up like this. What about Reza?
Why would he have done it? He'd be cutting off his only way out.
No, he'd be doing something smart. If he has the part needed to get the portal working again, he's in control of who gets to use it, cutting off our ability to communicate with mankind. We wouldn't be able to inform them of Reza's actions. Maybe we shouldn't have kept the investigation secret for this long.
If your theory is true, that would be proof that Reza's actions are his own, not humanity's.
Hey, I already trust you on that. Or it's a stunt to grant humanity plausible deniability. No way, things are too dire for the humans to take such an extraordinary risk, especially for that. Sure, that wouldn't be the only reason they'd benefit, though. There must be something we're not aware of. Maybe we're looking at this from the wrong angle. If no one was here to guard the portal, anyone could have broken it. It doesn't necessarily have to have anything to do with Reza or Maverick. But they still have the greatest motives. Sure, but they definitely aren't the only ones to have one. There could be private groups who are interested in the technology or its significance as a human artifact. So that puts us exactly nowhere. At least as far as speculation is concerned, it's about time for forensics to show up. Anyway, let's hope they can pull some clues from all this. Sebastian, can you take it from here? You've been just as dedicated to the case as I have. Since I'll have to be at the minister's side for a while, I'd like you to take charge of the investigation for now. Thanks, Chief. I won't let you down.
What's up with that anyway? Being appointed as Emeras' bodyguard as punishment seems strange to me.
Are you kidding? I could have lost my job. This is a way better outcome. Honestly, she probably did it for her own sake more than anything else, but I'm not complaining. That's all. I'm going to be heading back to the ministry. I shouldn't keep her waiting.
So what does that make you now? Temporary chief?
More like case leader. By the way, you won't need to stick around while forensics does their job. Thanks for your help. I assume you can find your way back to your apartment?
Yeah, of course.
Alright, I'll see you later then.
See ya. I considered spending my free time roaming the town, but decided it would be best to keep myself out of the spotlight. After cooking myself a room entry meal, I considered picking up another book when the doorbell rang.
Hey, Mason.
Hey Sebastian, do you need my help again?
We're just a small-town police department, and with Bryce removed from the case, our resources are thinner than ever.
I understand. So what do you have for me?
Dressed up as the primary witness in the latest murder, Damien, the victim's assistant. He was the one who found her body. A few things could have changed since this morning, as we have gotten some additional information from forensics that warrants further questioning. I know you knew the victim personally, so you don't have to do this if you don't want to. I'll leave the choice to you. You find her assistant in the production facility. You seemed interested in that underground building found near the portal. I realized you might actually be able to help us with that. Since it's suspected to be of human origin, your opinion would be greatly appreciated.
I guess I should add archaeologist to my resume.
Maybe human matters consultant would be more appropriate.
Do you really think it's okay to me to tamper with your priceless discoveries?
Oh, you wouldn't actually go there in person, I just want you to take a look at the collected information in the archives and give us your opinion. Besides, no one is allowed to visit at the moment. The building is old and unstable, and there is a danger of it collapsing or flooding. Obviously, we don't want either of those to happen.
Flooding?
Yes, the whole building is underground, and we've determined that there is a rather large pocket of water surrounding it. Any kind of disturbance could endanger everything and everyone inside.
I see.
We also located another witness for the latest murder. A store clerk reported seeing and hearing something, so it's probably worth it to ask him a few questions.
Got it.
Here are all the details. Visit me at the department once you're done.
Sure thing. It was interesting that they still relied on me for their investigations, even after they tried to send me back to them. I didn't expect them to allow me to help with police matters after everything that had happened. Now that the possibility of sending me back was eliminated, the advantages of having me on their side apparently outweighs them. Though, I had to wonder who would have to be more careful from now on.
Okay, I think that's where we'll end that episode. So, it's been quite a lot of info dumps, actually. Found out quite a few things. Some things
Rest in
happened
peace,
that...
Anna.
What?
I said rest in peace, Anna.
So any thoughts or anything on your part?
Now I kind of feel bad for ditching her. But she shouldn't have been delayed. Wait, was she delayed by an hour because she got killed? Oh.
No, she was not delayed by an hour because she got killed.
Okay, well...
If you kept
then
waiting, she
been...
would have shown up.
Oh, I figured she would, but I was like, what's the point of waiting? Because I know she's not interested. Or at least I don't think she's interested, so...
Anything else?
No, not really.
I think I already know what I'm going to title this episode.
Oh god.
Probably something along the lines of fuck Emera. I just hate her so much.
Oh, Emera.
Alright, so with that, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna wrap up this episode. I've been Muffin the Guildmaster.
And I've been ZakPak.
And we will see you all next time.
Later.